Now, if you have found the love of your life, and maybe you've even married the love of your life, do you remember the way you thought about that person and pursued that person and didn't eat because of that person, and didn't sleep because of that person, and drove all over the place because of that? You remember that? What that was like? I mean, you had a vision. You could just see yourself married to that person. You could see the two of you together forever. I've told you the story before about Jean and me. When I met Jean, I was 23 years old and pastoring a church in Miami, Florida, and driving 250 miles to go to seminary in Lakeland, Florida. I did that twice a week. I did that every weekend, and I did that on Wednesdays. I'd get out of class at noon on Wednesday, drive to Miami, and do my thing down there, and then leave about 9 o'clock and drive 250 miles back and be in class at 7 o'clock the next morning. I did that for about a year and a half, 2 years. And you know, in that second year I was doing that, I met this beautiful girl. She was 19. She lived in Fort Pierce, Florida. She was a part-time community college student. She worked full-time for Southern Bell as a long-distance operator back when they used to plug and unplug things, you know. And I met this girl. Boy, that made it harder on me. Because then, when I left Lakeland on Friday afternoon to go home and do my weekend thing, I went to Fort Pierce. And I stayed there as long as her mother would let me stay before she kicked me out of the house. And then I left and I went to Miami and I did my pastoral duties. And as soon as church was over on Sunday night, I didn't go back to Lakeland. I went back to Jean's house. And I stayed there as long as her mama would let me stay there. And then I'd get up and I'd drive in. And sometimes, you know, I'd wake up, sometimes I wouldn't wake up for that 7 o'clock fast. And then when Wednesday afternoon came, I went to Miami. But as soon as I got finished with church that night, I went to Fort Pierce and I stayed there as late as her mama would let me stay. And then I'd drive on the other 125 miles or whatever it was on into to Lakeland and do my classes. Now, I could see us together forever. You know, I was pursuing her. I wanted her to love me the way that I loved her. And eventually we got married. My health would have broken had we continued to do that. But you know what?